There we go. I wasn't even saying anything. Okay, yeah. So the Kyle Rittenhouse case has finally, the jury has finally reached a verdict. I know this is my first time talking about this, but um, I've been kind of following the story. I've watched a little bit of the live broadcast. I've been watching other just YouTube channels, listening to other attorneys, just kind of go over the case from a very objective point of view, and reading a few news headlines here and there about certain things. Sorry about that. But yeah, so the basically, Rittenhouse is found not guilty on all accounts of things he was charged with, includes murder and gun charges. All of that found not guilty. And to be honest, like, I'm not going to talk about like opinion, whether what kind of person he is, or I'm going to hold any kind of moral judgments till the end. But basically, I mean, not really surprised like by the outcome, just because like, you know, given what was going on during the actual trial, like, a lot of people are saying the judge was basically playing in favor of the defendant. But there was like all these moments where prosecution basically like had no case. Like there were like, I mean, there's all these moments where people, or like the witnesses would say, "Oh yeah, I only pointed like I was shot because I pointed my gun at him first," or something like that. Like, and there's like all those situations where you saw prosecutors just go like, like they just went like hand to face, and it was like, so like, I mean, you kind of saw like you like. I don't think anyone should be that surprised, basically, of what is going on, or the outcome, because given how the trial went, it's kind of like, yeah, it's leaning pretty in favor of a not guilty, and a lot of attorneys, who are litigators, like basically called it. They're like, yeah, good chance that this kid is gonna go free, and that's our justice system. And I like, again, like I this whole situation just kind of was like, it's a little rough. I mean, I don't even know how to say it. Like, it's just, like there's a lot of people say, well, he shouldn't have been there in the first place, but that doesn't really matter because the trial is about whether he was an a person who was out to kill people, or was it self-defense. Like everyone keeps trying to throw in like, oh, how is him taking pictures with the Proud Boys not relevant? It's like, it isn't relevant. It's kind of like saying like, let's just say you were caught for drunk driving. Should it matter? Should it be brought to the case that at one point in your life you stole like a pack of gum? It shouldn't matter. It's like, or like maybe, or hell, you were just, maybe a thief or in general, but it's like, well, it doesn't matter if you are a thief. It matters, right? That the thing you're being tried for is whether you are a is drunk driving. Like you can't like start throwing in like random, or not random, but like other things about someone's life just to slander them, like to paint like a picture of like, oh, this guy's a dick, so therefore even if he didn't do even if like this, in this situation, he may or may not have actually committed a crime, he should still be punished for it, or something like that. And I think that's like something that I feel like that hurts our justice system, is like, before the trial even goes, or like the cases go to trial, there's so much press, there's so much like media attention on it. It's like, how are you going to get an impartial jury who has not been swayed one way or the other? A lot of these jurors, when even they're doing jury selection, is like, look, like whatever I choose, like half of the country is gonna hate me and half of the other country is gonna love me, and like they're gonna have to live with that. And there's like, a lot of people saying, or like the people who were in the jury selection saying things like, There's a lot of fallout between friends and family depending on what the outcome is, because again, they have to stay impartial, right? Like they have to view this like on a blank slate. They have to kind of push back anything they've seen on media. They can only look at the evidence that was shown in court and on record. They can't reference like, oh yeah, I saw this one video of like him doing this like 4 months ago. It's like, no, you can't put that stuff into the trial or like into your decision as a juror, and you can't. And if you do, it's like I'm not sure if that's against the law, but you can definitely be removed as a juror because if you have like a clear bias, right? So yeah, like and from what I understand, like you can't appeal non-guilties, like you can only appeal guilty sentences. So basically he's not, I mean, he's completely free to go. I mean, his name will definitely live in infamy. But I mean, there's like half of the country who supports him, so it's not like his life is ruined or like he can't go places. Like, he just can't go everywhere, but there's certain places there where he'll be welcomed with open arms, and and I mean, this whole thing is just like kind of really, I think, shed a lot of light on just how divided this country is. Like, every country has its own problems, but I feel like in America, at the very least, it's gotten to a point where, I mean, you basically live in two different worlds. It's either you have one side that's conservative, one side that's liberal. You barely have any. I mean, I think most people are probably like a little borderline, or like if there's a kind of like a hot, slightly hot, warm, cold, and like freezing. Most people I think live in the slightly hot and like cold area. With a little bit more in the middle of the warm, and then there's like very few who are in the super hot and like freezing areas. But those are usually the vocal minorities who are like, they're the ones that give everybody else a bad name. And it's just like this. There's this dynamic of like where like it doesn't seem like we can ever really unite with one common goal. Like it wasn't like back at like I feel like the only few times that America actually united as one was maybe like World War II. Like that was the only time where most people were like, yeah, we should fight the Nazis, where it was like clearly a good versus evil type of situation. But even then, like there were some people who actually thought World War II or like the Nazis were fake. Like right before basically Pearl Harbor, there was a group of individuals who thought Pearl Harbor was like a hoax, and that there's no war in Europe. And it was like something like the political like politicians at the time were like just kind of like they were trying to like joke against, or like basically they were telling people like, oh yeah, like they're just saying this, it's all fake. Oh no, they didn't think Pearl Harbor was fake. Sorry, but they thought the war was fake, and then until Pearl Harbor happened, like literally that group like disseminated. It's like, hey, we just got attacked and 2,000 people died. That's when like they were all like, I think this war is real, But that's just I digress. Like that's just talking about like when America would have been somewhat united as one, but now it's like, whether that will happen again or whether the states will ever be united as one, I don't know. Like, I mean, just because like everyone think like a lot of people think like, oh yeah, conservatism is dying out and liberalism is like taking over or whatever. It's like, dude, this is a big country and there's a lot of people here. So like, just because you live in an area where it seems that way doesn't mean it's happening all over. And I think that was a clear sign when, or that was a clear, obvious indicator, or there's clear evidence when Trump won in 2016. So, Anyways, um, yeah, I mean, this has been. I think what's crazy is like, while this is hitting the news like almost everywhere, we're almost hearing nothing about Ahmaud Arbery and that whole case. I mean, it's on the news, but it's nowhere near as like the level. Maybe because maybe that one's a little bit more cut and dry, whereas this one was like, a little bit more wishy washy. You have video. I mean, I watched some of the videos, and I mean, you kind of have to say like, dude, like, yeah, the kid does look like he's defending himself in a lot of it, and like, I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't there. I only saw a video, and it's just from one perspective. But again, a lot of people are still saying like, why was he even there? Why was he carrying an assault rifle? An AR-15, which is like not like, let's face it, that gun is for killing. Guns are made to kill. Yes, you can use them to hunt. You can use them for sport. You can use them for target practice, just to like do stuff. But like at the end of the day, the gun was created to kill stuff. Like that's the intention. Yes, you can use it for other things, but and there's certain guns made specifically for anti-personnel, like an AR-15. Like these assault rifles are not created to hunt deer. They're like, you don't need 30 round mags to hunt deer. And you don't even need a 5.56 bullet to hunt deer. Like you can kill a deer with like a 22, like maybe, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But yeah, you don't need a high caliber bullet like to, or you don't, or well, I mean, that's not super high caliber, but it's not like a 50 cal or something like that, or even like a 300 mag. But yeah, you don't. Those are generally anti-personnel, so it's like. Anyways, I think whatever the case here in terms of like, I think this is going to create a lot. I mean, no matter what, regardless of this case of what came out, if he was committed or if he was guilty on even one or all accounts, or innocent, this is like there's no going to be no situation where everyone's going to be like, yeah, okay, like justice has been served or not served or whatever. Like this case is gonna be dividing everyone no matter what the outcome was. Like neither side is gonna accept the other side's the outcome no matter what. So like one side will be pissed if he was, or well, one side is pissed because he's not guilty, but if he was guilty, another side would have been pissed too. So I think that's just the nature of this. Like, I think the overall. I'm just trying to repeat myself, but anyways, yeah. So that's just kind of like reporting on like the situation, or not report or situation, but like, this is the outcome, and now we got to live with it. So I'm hoping that this is like kind of more people will not use this to fuel more hate, but maybe to. I think like one side needs to just accept what has happened. I mean, obviously, like I feel like a crap for saying that, like, because it's like the victims, or like, apparently the judge said you can't call them victims, but the people who lost their lives during this, like obviously they're gonna have a hard time with this. So I hope they get closure in some shape or form. I mean, they're gonna have to live with this for the rest. He's gonna have to live with this for the rest of his life, because at the end of the day, regardless if it was murder or not, he still killed people. And you don't just walk away from that. Like, you have to be a psychopath to be like, oops, like, I killed somebody, and then like, you go have a steak. It seems like he is remorseful, and it seems like, it really affected him, which, I mean, as a normal human being, it should. So, anyways, that's just kind of my take on this whole situation, and just, but there's a lot that's going to be going on in the next few days. I think from this, like I mean, if there's going to be riots, I hope there isn't, and I hope that people are bigger, will act a little bit more mature and not try to rub it on the other side's face, whether you were one, if you're leaning one way over the other. I think, but we as a country need to kind of take a look at this, examine ourselves, and then build from it, not use it to, try to break each other down. But that's just my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What could have been better? Do you think the judge should have been a different judge? I kind of think so. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. Feels weird saying that stuff, but yeah, hope you guys have a great Friday. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving that's coming up. Eat some turkey or eat whatever you eat, and just enjoy times with friends and family. So stay safe, and